Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Coach Bob McKillop Show, brought to you by OrthoCarolina. Nice to have you in the audience again today. And Coach, another busy week last week. You started off at home against St. Joe, and what a heck of a performance by the Wildcats in that game. We
certainly made our shots, and it's interesting how making shots transfers onto the defensive end, where it energizes your defense, and that gets a stop, and taking the ball off the glass rather than through the net gets your offense in gear and gives you an opportunity to make more shots. So it was a spiral for us, and it was just a superb performance by our team, in particular Peyton Aldridge.
Peyton had 29 points for Davidson in the first half of that game. Coach, what was going on with him?
He felt it. You could just see the way the ball left his hand, the way his teammates were looking for him. We didn't really call too many things for him until the last minute of that half, in which he capitalized on both opportunities. But he was clicking, and he became a matchup problem for St. Joe's. He's created that situation on several occasions this year. And whenever we see that, we try to take advantage of it.
I thought your defense against St. Joe caused them all kind of problems.
You know, they're an explosive team, and if you give them rhythm and you give them open driving lanes, they're lethal. Siobhan Newkirk is as quick and as creative a point guard as there is in the conference, and he's the guy that really gets them going. James Demery, who's a local guy from North Carolina, again has a chance to be an explosive athlete. But I think the absence of Kimball and Brown, two superb players for St. Joe's, has really hurt them. And when you lose one guy, it's tough. But when you lose two as important as they are, I feel sorry for Phil Martelli, because he's such a terrific guy and an equally terrific coach.
Coach, I know that Peyton got 29 in the first half, but in the second half, very balanced scoring for Davidson in that St. Joe's game.
Well, we came out of the gate in the second half and started with a three-point play, conventional for Peyton, but then other guys picked up, and I'm sure that Phil spoke to his team about shutting down Peyton, and probably gave him a lot more attention. And when Peyton's getting attention from the entire opposing defense, then it opens up opportunities for our own guys.
After the win over St. Joe's at Davidson, the Wildcats hit the road to play A-10 conference leader Rhode Island on the road, and that game was a 72-59 Rhode Island win. What stood out to you about that game, Coach?
They had 10 baskets in the last 10 seconds of the possession. Which means we did not finish the possession. And they also had 8 points on second chance opportunities, which again means we didn't finish the possession. So I thought there were moments where we were brilliant. But in a game against a team that is as talented, as tough, as well coached as Rhode Island is, you better finish the deal. And finishing was really a problem for us.
Coach Hurley said after the game in an interview with ESPN that he thought that the press that they used against you wore you down a little bit. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I can recollect last year in the conference tournament, we had played them here at Belk Arena, and it was a very close game, and had gone up to Rhode Island, and I believe it was an overtime game that we had a chance to win in regulation. So we played them two very close games during the season. And then we played them in this our third game in 3 days in the conference tournament, and had just come back from emotional victories over LaSalle and Dayton. And our energy level was somewhat dissipated. Our stamina was really hindered by the fact that we had those two difficult physical and emotional games, and they wore us down in Pittsburgh. I mean, they absolutely wore us down last year. And I think that set the standard for what they tried to do to us this year. And they picked us up full court, and as a result of the full court pickup, it just stretched our offense out and made us take longer time on offense. And of course, when they have a lead and you're playing with a lead, it's like the pitcher that goes into the ninth inning with a 7-0 lead rather than a 1-0 lead, and his pitches are a lot different with that 7-0 lead rather than a 1-0 lead. And Rhode Island played with that cushion for 25, 30 minutes, and they were relentless in maintaining their sense of intensity.
Coach Bob McKillop of Davidson talking Wildcat basketball with you today. We'll come back and meet one of the important people in Davidson's program right after this.
When my husband fell and landed on his shoulder, the pain was immediate, and my worry was too. He needed to see the right doctor right away. After searching for a doctor that specializes in injuries like my husband's, with hours that are convenient for nights and weekends, we chose the urgent care at OrthoCarolina. I know I made the right decision by taking him to the right place. OrthoCarolina, keeping you close to the things you love.
Hey Wildcat fans, when it comes to game day, it's all about the food. And Harris Teeter has everything you need. Delicious subs and wraps, fresh hot store-made pizza, crowd-pleasing party platters, or ready-to-serve wing trays, just to name a few. Firing up the grill? Harris Teeter Reserve Angus Beef will be the superstar of your game day meal. We guarantee it. Stop in your Harris Teeter for great savings on game day foods, or download the HT app to order ahead. Harris Teeter, where Wildcat fans shop for groceries.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Coach Bob McKillop Show. I'm John Kilgo. Coach, it must be an interesting experience to have your son, Matt, as the associate head coach of the Wildcats.
Well, there's no doubt that he tells me what's on his mind with no hesitancy whatsoever, and that's a luxury to have as an old, experienced veteran coach. Generally, when you have a young staff, there's some reluctance to voice your opinion, to interject some thoughts. Matt is never, ever holding back with what he thinks, and that's a real plus for us.
Absolutely. We had this opportunity to sit down with Coach Matt McKillop. Here's that interview now. We're pleased to have Matt with us on the set here today to talk some basketball. How long did it take you after playing the game to know that you wanted to coach?
When I was playing in college, I always felt that I wanted to coach, and following graduation, I went overseas and had a very short-lived professional career, and it was a challenging experience, and that experience in Europe made me want to distance myself a little bit from basketball to see if maybe I had an interest elsewhere. I didn't go that far away from the game. I worked for the Bobcats or the Hornets in their marketing department, and I was far enough away from basketball but close enough to the game that I knew that I couldn't stay away any longer, and if I wasn't able to play, I had to be a little bit more involved, and that helped me realize that I wanted to coach.
Now that you are in your coaching career, has it been what you thought it would be? How would you grade it as far as how much you like it?
Oh, I absolutely love it. I don't know what else I would do. My father always talks about waking up in the morning and looking forward to go to work every day and looking forward to making the team and the program better, and I felt that when I was at Emory University with Jason Zimmerman, and I feel it every day when I'm here at Davidson.
What is your main role as coach, associate head coach of Davidson? What is your main role?
I think my main role and the role of every assistant coach is to do whatever they can to make the head coach's life easier, and whether that's by doing a good job scouting, recruiting the right types of players that we know our head coach is going to like, taking care of things that maybe he doesn't have to see on a daily basis within the staff and within the team to make things flow a little bit easier when we get to the practice court. But in many ways, I have my hand in every hat, and each one of our assistant coaches does. But my experience here has probably put me in position to have a little bit more of a responsibility for some of the things that he finds more important.
When you take the court to practice in the afternoon with this Davidson team, what do you consider the main challenges that you have as a coach with that group of young men?
It's having an understanding for what they go through day in and day out, week in and week out, not just on the court but off of the court, and having had the experience of being a Davidson student athlete and understanding the rigors of the classroom and understanding the challenges of the social life and all the different things that could play into the mind of an 18 to 22-year-old kid. And it seems so easy to think that they step on the basketball court and there's nothing bothering them. I think doing a great job as an assistant coach entails knowing the mentality of each player, understanding the personality of each player, and finding out what we can do to help them eliminate all the little things that could be going on in their mind and helping them focus on the task at hand on the practice court.
Some assistant coaches will tell you that they love coaching basketball, but they don't love recruiting basketball players. How do you like recruiting?
There are some days I absolutely despise it, and there are some days that I love it. Davidson's a very unique place, and it's the right fit for the right type of kid. And that often presents a lot of challenges when it comes to narrowing our lists down, finding those who are admissible and finding those who can thrive in the academic environment here, but also finding those who are the right fit for our culture and the right fit for our team and the way that we play. And it's pretty special when you find that right kid and you find that he wants to come to Davidson as well.
Well, you're in the home stretch now, Matt, and this basketball season has really gone by fast. You looking forward to the tournament?
I'm looking forward to practice tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to Wednesday. And it's really easy to think ahead to DC and the conference tournament. And as these next few weeks winds down, I've looked at the standings to some extent and know that there are all sorts of different scenarios that can play out. And having worked for my father long enough, that the second you begin to think about seeding, the second you begin to think about the conference tournament, that's effort and energy that you're not putting into preparing for the next game and the next day. And I happen to have the scout for our upcoming opponent, and I've got enough work to do with them that I can't let my mind get distracted by the conference tournament.
Understood. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, Killop.
We'll be back with Coach Bob McKillop right after this.
The road home just got a lot more exciting. With Hendrick BMW's Road Home Sales Event, now is the best time to buy with 0% financing or make no payments for 90 days. Choose from over 900 vehicles, including our entire lineup of American-made sport activity vehicles, like the all-new BMW X3. Plus, all new BMWs come with free scheduled maintenance. Hurry to Hendrick BMW on Independence Boulevard and at the North Lake Auto Mall and HendrickBMW.com.
2,000. We're 2,000 who take shots on the national stage and then to those in need, and build education systems and bracket algorithms and drench the food deserts, flip the lectures, save the swamps, and study Blackbeard's beauty with a 3D X-ray, and biomechanics, photon mechanics, borders, bulbs, and bees, and inspire better ways, stronger people, and new ideas relentlessly. Because at Davidson College, we don't just prepare for the world, we prepare to make it better.
Tailgating is awesome, unless you spend the whole tailgate waiting on your burger. The Bojangles Big Bowl Box has everything you need for a great tailgate party. And none of the cleanup.
Grab a Bojangles Big Bowl Box and feed the whole group with chicken, biscuits, fixins, and tea. Bojangles, it's bow time.
Welcome back, everybody. Coach Bob McKillop of the Wildcats here with you, talking Davidson basketball. And each week, the Davidson basketball Twitter account asks for your questions of Coach McKillop. Coach, let's start with Jim from White House, Texas. He wants to know how Nathan Ekwu, who's had so much adversity as far as his health is concerned, is handling being out and not being able to play.
Nathan is a marvelous young man with a great sense of faith, and he understands that there's a reason for why he's not able to play right now. He's certainly very grateful and appreciative of the opportunity to play basketball at Davidson College and go to school here, and he's working religiously to get himself back so that he can play for us next year. From a character standpoint, he's one of the best you could ever find, and that has allowed him to handle this adversity as gracefully as he has done.
He was really coming on, Coach, as a rebounder and rim protector for you, wasn't he?
You know, you think about him in terms of his toughness, his rebounding ability, and his ability to protect the basket, and I think he could have helped us in a few games this year.
I remember, I forget what game it was, but last year he had 3 or 4 blocks on one sequence. People are trying to get it and put it back. He just totally demoralized the offense.
Yes, that was back in early December before he hurt his knee in late December, and ever since that injury in late December, he's been a shadow of what he was and limped his way through the second half of last season and fought through extreme pain. And now, after 2 more surgeries, we're very optimistic that he's finding his way back to being healthy again.
Coach, some Davidson fans interested in recruiting would like to get your thoughts on the 2018 recruits that you have gotten, have letters of intent from.
Well, Michael is from Minnesota, and he's 6'6" and incredibly long arms, and he has those high shoulders with the long arms, so he plays really long. A great touch, terrific shooter, great feel for the game. I think he's going to be a very, very good addition. Of course, David, with his brother Chris Sharapovich playing for us, has an awareness of Davidson, has grown up with Davidson, and much like Rusty Regal, that is always an advantage when you have somebody who wears Davidson on their heart before they even get here. And David's a combo guard who's very experienced, played quite a bit of time for Michael Bree in Sweden, so he's got an experience from his brother and from one of our former great point guards, Michael Bree, in terms of understanding the Davidson system. And Nelson, I think he's going to be a real pleasant surprise for our fans. He's long, he's athletic, and very, very skilled. He's playing in a post-grad program up at Loomis Chaffee in Connecticut, and again, a kid with just outstanding character and work ethic. So I think we got the combination of character, work ethic, and skill in all 3 of these guys, and I believe they'll be very good additions for us.
That's fantastic. A good recruiting crop for the Wildcats, no question about it. Another busy week for Davidson, too. Coach McKillop is going to talk about that and other basketball-related items right after this.
Life. It happens. And sometimes, all you can focus on is the pain. At OrthoCarolina, we want to restore you to a life without the pain. A life where the activities you pursue are no longer hindered. A life where you can freely enjoy and participate in the lives of the people closest to you. OrthoCarolina. You improve.
At Lake Norman Infinity, when it comes to supporting the Davidson Wildcats, we don't just put our money where our mouth is, we put your money back in your pocket. That's because all students, faculty, staff, and alumni receive Davidson supporter prices on any new Infinity or pre-owned vehicle. Of course, every Wildcat gets a special welcome and our first-rate customer service. So if we don't see you in the stands as we cheer on the Wildcats, we look forward to seeing you here at Lake Norman Infinity, where Wildcats are welcome.
Honoring all-around excellence in men's and women's collegiate competition. Every division, every sport, the Learfield Directors Cup. The prestigious award continues its reign as the crowning achievement in college athletics. To follow your favorite team, like us on Facebook, find us online and on Twitter. the Learfield Directors Cup.
No two people are exactly alike. We wear different
clothes.
We listen to different music. We like different
food. But we all want to lead healthy lives. And if we're sick or hurt, we want expert care.
Modern miracles with kindness and compassion.
So yes, we're all different, but we're all the same.
Welcome back, everybody. Coach Bob McKillop with you today, the head coach of the Davidson Wildcats. Coach, I find this to be a very interesting basketball season, because a lot of times when you get this deep in the February, you say that team stands out. Looks like a bunch of equally matched teams out there on the horizon.
John, I really believe that the length of the season, from the standpoint of preseason practice, summer conditioning, summer practice, spring conditioning, spring practice, wears on players. And I think the emotional and mental capacity of players has a limit as to how extensive it shows up game by game. So that allows teams with great intensity, with great mental toughness, to beat teams with maybe more talent. And when you find a team that has talent and toughness being both physical and mental toughness every night, that's a team that you could point to and say, hey, they're a Final Four capacity. And there's a couple of teams out there that fit that category. But I believe that the number of upsets that occur are in the area of teams being worn out by the length of the season, Instagram, chat rooms, all those things in social media that surround a program. And it's a different kind of environment than we saw 25, 30 years ago when we began here together at Davidson.
You might have watched college basketball last week. You saw coaches on the Davidson staff and other staffs around the country wearing basketball sneakers on the bench. It was Coaches versus Cancer Week, and the coaches were delighted to participate in the program.
Good afternoon. How are you? Good? What are we having? Chicken bacon ranch milk. What kind of bread? You're healthy, Jackie. That's great, Jackie. I'm in charge of all the meat. You know they're going to taste extra special today. Hey, what's up? Are you throwing strikes today?
So far for players.
Well, I'm hitting home runs back here. Whatever you want, it's a home run.
This is the second year that Subway statewide has participated in what we call a Coaches for Cancer awareness and fundraising campaign in conjunction with the American Cancer Society. We partnered with many local schools, Davidson College being one of them statewide, and Davidson locally here for us. To help raise awareness for cancer. It touches so many people's lives, and to help raise money that actually is used locally to help fund educational programs, nutritional programs, something as community-based as getting patients to and from their chemotherapy appointments. But all the money comes back to our local communities. And Coach McKillop and Davidson College have been an awesome partner in joining with us in this. And it's been so fun to have Coach here.
When my husband fell and landed on his shoulder, the pain was immediate, and my worry was too. He needed to see the right doctor right away. After searching for a doctor that specializes in injuries like my husband's, with hours that are convenient for nights and weekends, we chose the urgent care at OrthoCarolina. I know I made the right decision by taking him to the right place. OrthoCarolina, keeping you close to the things you love.
Hey, Wildcat fans! When it comes to game day, it's all about the food. And Harris Teeter has everything you need. Delicious subs and wraps, fresh hot store-made pizza, crowd-pleasing party platters, or ready-to-serve wing trays, just to name a few. Firing up the grill? Harris Teeter Reserve Angus Beef will be the superstar of your game day meal. We guarantee it. Stop in your Harris Teeter for great savings on game day foods, or download the HT app to order ahead. Harris Teeter, where Wildcat fans shop for groceries.
Hendrick. The road home just got a lot more exciting. With Hendrick BMW's Road Home Sales Event, now is the best time to buy with 0% financing or make no payments for 90 days. Choose from over 900 vehicles, including our entire lineup of American-made sport activity vehicles, like the all-new BMW X3. Plus, all new BMWs come with free scheduled maintenance. Hurry to Hendrick BMW on Independence Boulevard and at the North Lake Auto Mall and HendrickBMW.com.
Welcome back, everybody. John Kilgore with Bob McKillop of the Wildcats. Davidson continues this A-10 regular season schedule this week with 2 games. At home Wednesday night against on the road Wednesday night, 7 o'clock against Virginia Commonwealth. Coach, the Rams love to press and get after you, don't they?
One of the great environments in college basketball. Just outstanding what they have done with that program. Nationally, I think one of the best. They come at us with pressure, yes, but they have a deep roster, and new coach Mike Rhodes is not afraid to use it. And the roster is certainly led by their 2 seniors, Jonathan Williams and Justin Tillman. Justin had 37 the other night against Dayton, and Jonathan is just a spark plug, a one-man fast break. So with that army of players that they have, and at their place, or any place, it's never an easy game against VCU.
Generally speaking, I know that it's not a simple answer to the question, but when a team you know is going to press you like that, what do you try to get your offense to do to combat that?
You have to be poised. You have to be patient. And yet you still have to attack. And there's a fine line between attack and patience, and you have to find that fine line. Of course, having multiple ball handlers helps you. Having players with skill helps you. And the ability to knock down threes can really be something that creates some problems for a team that presses, because you might get those open looks. Now, whether to take them or not is the question where you have to have the poise.
Another thing, Coach, you got 5 players that play interchangeable positions. So it looks to me that would make the press against you harder to conduct.
And of course, the one that's most glaring in terms of his ability to play multiple positions is Peyton Aldridge, and the second being Keyshawn Pritchett. So you've got 2 guys, 1 guard and 1 forward, who are capable of alternating between 1 and 5. It gives you a little bit more leeway in terms of handling pressure.
Well, Coach, it's going to be a busy week because UMass comes to Belcarina Saturday night, 7 o'clock. So good luck to the Wildcats this week.
And John, what's so interesting about this conference and so fascinating, exciting, and wonderful about this conference is, you know, you look back to the last week, 10 days, and you play George Washington, NIT finalist last year. Then you play St. Joe's, Sweet 16 several years back. Then you play LaSalle, Sweet 16 several years back. Then you play Rhode Island, top 20 in the country, if not maybe top 10 in the country this week. You play VCU, Final Four team, always on the national stage. And then UMass, they have a vivid memory of their appearance in the Final Four as well. So you're playing storied programs week after week, and that's exhilarating.
Well, it certainly is, and good luck to you, Coach.
Thanks, John.
Thank you for watching. Coach McKillop returns next week.